Hi guys, Homebrew Wednesday for you. It's been a long time since I've done one of them. Got to be 3 years. Anyway, we're going to do one for you today. We've got a homebrew. It's not one of mine today, it's one from a colleague or a friend. One of the gents I'm training to be a beer judge at the moment has given me this bottle, so we'll be trying that one. And we've got a brew day, which turned into a disaster. You'll see the video going through. We were making a German wheat. We were doing a boil in a bag. It was supposed to work well. It didn't. Ended up the boiler started playing up, giving us all sorts of temperature issues, and in the end it died halfway through the boil stage. Went out, checked on the temperature, instead of being 99.5 or whatever, I'm watching the temperature going down, the boil light being on to say the element should be on, but no heating. So we cancelled the boil halfway through, turned around. I was just going to throw it out there and then, but decided may as well pitch it. What have I got to lose? Just some fermenter space for a fortnight. So it's out there, it's fermenting away. Have to see if anything comes of it, or if where the temperatures went all over the place, it's just going to be undrinkable. You never know, it could end up being one of the best beers I've ever brewed and I'll never be able to recreate it. But anyway, let's get homebrew on board and see what's happening. This is the one we're going for. It's a Blackberry Vanilla Porter, a British porter with locally foraged blackberries and a hint of vanilla. So it says 4.7% ABV, and this one was bottled in September last year. So let's see what we get. It's magic smoke coming at the top of the bottle. Really dark coppery brown. You probably can't see it there, but it's crystal clear with a small tight tan head on it. Plenty of roasted malts. And getting hints of chocolate, hints of blackberry. The background note vanilla, but it's not very prominent at this stage. It smells really inviting, so let's get stuck in. It's really nice. Really nice. The fruit in it is enough to liven it up. Slight tartness with plenty of roasted malt, but it blends well together. Neither of them overpowers the other. Going back for a bit more of this. I'm not really getting the vanilla in the flavour, but then again, some of the best beers have it there as almost a seasoning in the background. It's very rarely meant to be a hugely prominent flavour, but it's probably adding to it in the background, even though I'm not picking it up on its own because of the strength of the other flavours in here. Going down really nicely. Thank you very much for that. I'll enjoy that one throughout the rest of the Homebrew Wednesday and finish it off after. So yeah, I'm going to play you my disastrous brew day. There's, like I say, it's a bit of a mess. It didn't come out well, and about halfway through you'll see where temperatures just start going all over the place and we start getting problems. Like I say, in the end I did pitch it though, and we'll update you in a few weeks, see if anything comes of it. Here you go, this was the brew day. Welcome to the brew garage. We got a brew on tonight, doing a German Weiss. So at the moment it's a toss up. Do I go with Munich or with Mangrove Jacks? It could go either way yet, we'll have to see what happens when I pitch it. But other than that, we're going very simple grain bill. For a 10 litre batch we've got 1.3 kilos of wheat malt, 1.3 kilos of Dingman's Pils malt, and that's it. Then we're going with about 12 grams of Hersbrucker hops, boil for 90 minutes, and about the same again, boil for 60 minutes. So very simple brew. Water's on, heating up to strike temp as we speak. I've just got my false bottom in there because I'll be doing it brewing a bag, and as I've got an exposed element under there, I don't want the bag touching it and just making an unholy mess of everything and burnt plastic and all the rest of it. So there we go, that's what's happening in the brew shed tonight. We'll come back in a bit and see what's going on then, see if I've decided which of these yeasts to go for. Now I've been told that if you do this one warm it turns into a banana bomb, but if you do it cooler it's not so bad. I mean, they recommend, what is it, 18 to 30. I've seen people doing it around 26 and getting real strong banana, which I'm not too big a fan of. This is another one that's tried and true. Again, it can produce cloven banana quite strongly, but I get the feeling I'm going to do it fairly cool either way, so who knows. That one I reckon. I'm going to start off by acidifying my water because I'm using arrow water, there's literally nothing in it. Now this is really strong acid. You're welcome to use weaker acid if you do this, but if you do you're going to use a lot more of it. What I would suggest though is use phosphoric instead of lactic or citric, because it doesn't impart a flavour to the brewing water at the concentrations we're going to be using. Now, being very strong acid, you're supposed to use gloves. Yeah. Not got any of them. Oh well. Be careful, I suppose. So that's done. No holes in fingers or anything. All very good. One thing I forgot to say, basic high school chemistry. Always acid into water, never water into acid. So come on, heat up. We're going to do a two-step temperature mash on this. So we're going to have a, where are we? We're going to have a protein rest at 50C for 30 minutes, a 75-minute step at 64.4 it's calling for, 64.5 for 75, and then mash out at 76, 10 minutes. So like I said, I'm doing it brewing a bag, so even with just this simple equipment, basic electric boiler with an STC and a temperature probe shoved in there, I'll be able to adjust the mash temperature and everything on the fly, ramp up from the rest to the saccharification temp, and then to the mash out temp just using the electric boiler. So let's get all these grains weighed out. And it's at times like this I wish I had a bigger sealer after just ripping the top right off the bag. Never mind, stick the bag in one corner, seal it, stick the bag in the other corner, seal that, all sealed. And that's the calcium chloride weighed out. Bring it in with my grains. There we go, all weighed out, ready to go. Just waiting on the water to get up to temp, and we're there. Oh no, we've overshot. It'll soon cool down. Serves me right for forgetting to set the temperature on, yeah. I've doughed in anyway. Dropped the bag in. Made sure we got no dough balls in there. Temperature's still a little bit higher than I wanted. It's dropping fairly quickly though because I'm not insulating it and leaving the top off for now. So hopefully it'll get back down a bit to 50 fairly rapidly. And we'll just leave it to rest half an hour, as you can see. Dropping quick enough. Hopefully we haven't killed off the enzymes we need for the protein rest. Well, over the half-hour rest we only managed to get down to about 55, so I don't know whether it's going to do any good, that protein rest. But we've reset the STC now for our next step, which is 64.4, and it's got 15 minutes to ramp up to that, and an hour rest there. STC's just shut off. Give it a quick stir. And we'll just, yeah, because I'm using the STC instead of the PID, it will overheat a bit and come back down. But yeah, just leave it to do its thing for an hour now. Oh, what the hell's going on? Guess I'm gonna have to go back to doing this in a little stock pot instead of the electric boiler. Yeah. Overshot by a long way. Guess it can't get out from underneath the false bottom properly, so shit happens. Let's get this out. Well, got it out, taking the gravity, and somehow we're only about 5 points off where we should be, despite me stopping the saccharification stage halfway through because it was going over temp. I don't know what condition this is going to be in, but what's to lose? I'll boil it up, give it the hops, and we'll ferment this batch of Munich. Use up the Munich yeast, even though I know it's old and out of date, and then we'll have to redo this brew another day. Probably doing it in the stainless steel pot instead of the electrical boiler. Anyway, it's heating up now. Going for the boil. This is about when the boilers died. As you can see, we finished the beer off. It's now fermenting away, and we'll just have to see what we get from it. Anyway, there we go. Hope you guys have enjoyed my disastrous brew day, and I'll catch you again soon.